that you all may have, and if you do, we are more than happy to answer them. If you have any questions at this time. The one question that's come forward again is it appears that the Obama administration has been backing the Muslim Brotherhood in recent months, and where do we all stand? It's very important, I think, for the people of Egypt to know that we have differences of opinion in our country as well. And that's why we're here before these microphones, because we wanted the people of Egypt to know. You have very strong voices in the United States Congress that want to stand with the goal that you have of living for a good life for your children here in a growing nation that is going to see more freedom, more jobs, and more prosperity. We're here for you, and we agree with that. And there are other members of Congress that share that same belief because, again, we have that common enemy in the terrorists who've shown themselves so recently in the form of the Muslim Brotherhood. The point is, we don't have a choice. They must be defeated because otherwise their goal will be to come in and to continue the tyranny that we saw most recently here in Egypt. They must be defeated. You've already taken that first step to defeat them. As my colleague Louis Gohmert said, you were 30 million strong in the streets. For each one of us, we were cheering in front of our televisions back home in the United States. We watched you on June 30th. We watched you on July 3rd. We were cheering for you. People across the United States were saying, finally, a second chance for Egypt, a new day for Egypt and for the children of Egypt. This is what we want for you. And you need to know that our resolve is going to stand. And it is firm. We are for standing with you. We are for standing with American contributions to your nation so we can help you in your effort to defeat our common enemy, which are the terrorists, known as the Muslim Brotherhood. Because again, we don't misunderstand this enemy. We don't underestimate this enemy. We know the real facts of this enemy, and we're willing to stand up with you in partnership and look this enemy in the eye and make sure this terrorism is defeated. Why? So that one day this bloodshed will finally come to an end. And one day the children of Egypt will know peace. They will have jobs. They will have a good home. And then they can have dreams for their children as well. And so we thank you. And if my colleagues have something else to add.
Bachmann, would you express for the three of us whether we believe there was a small military coup or whether this was something much different?
This is a very important question, whether or not what happened by all of you, the Egyptian people, the 30 million who gathered in the streets to cry out again for freedom, was this a coup or was this a continuation of the revolution? Our opinion, my opinion, is that this was not a coup. This was merely a time when the people of Egypt gave their voice loud and clear, beginning and continuing the revolution that began originally in Tahrir Square. You are people who love liberty, and you are a people with a 7,000-year history that we respect and that we admire. You have also established a peace treaty for 30 years or more in this region that has allowed this region to know more peace. You need to know, too, that we don't always agree, as I said, with our own government. But you need to know that we settled these differences. We settled them peacefully, without bloodshed in the United States. And we know and believe that Egypt will have that day as well. American businesses want to do business here in Egypt. We want to help grow. We want to help encourage the Chamber of Commerce here in Egypt. Again, we believe that all of the world will be better off. We believe that America will be better off if Egypt knows peace.
Thank you, Michelle. As I listened to the meetings today, I reflected, yes, upon the influence of George Washington in the early history of our country and the comparison with General Al-Sisi. But also, this other thought occurred to me, and the question is, did the people of Egypt, with the support of the military, have the right to throw off the Morsi government, which was elected? And I went to the Declaration of Independence in it accompanies the United States Constitution, which I carry in my pocket every day that I wear a jacket. It's nice to have it handy today because in 1776, our founding fathers wrote a message that I think will resonate to the Egyptian people and the leaders here in Egypt. And it says clearly this: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, this is the focus part, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That would be the Egyptian people here. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. And it continues. It is their right, it is their duty, when they're under despotism, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security, the necessity of which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. This was the vision of the founding fathers of the United States of America. They had to throw off the despotism of King George and the British Crown, and they shaped a country on a constitution that recognized that our rights come from God, that they're individual rights, and it's the people that empower the government. And I pray that that's the direction that Egypt goes. You've made a big step in the right direction. This is so encouraging to be here in Cairo today and to see this and hear this from the leaders we've met with today and to talk with some people that have flowed through this hotel and around this city. I want to look back on this day and know that it's the day that Egypt took a look and understands that America stands with you. We oppose the Muslim Brotherhood, and even though there may be some actions that come from our federal government that may indicate otherwise, it may also indicate that they don't understand clearly what goes on here in Egypt. The Arab Spring that started about a year and a half ago broke the wrong way for free people in the world in every instant that I can name. Boy, did it turn in the right direction here a month ago in Egypt. God bless you all. We Americans stand with you and against the Muslim Brotherhood.
Thank you. Just well put. Also want to mention that we have met and had conversations both in person and by phone with members of the American Egyptian Chamber of Commerce, one of whom is with us now. And the business community is supportive of what is happening, of the steps being taken of an interim government until the proper elections can be held, and doing business and seeing the economy grow. And so that is all a very favorable thing. But it is also important to understand, as I mentioned in quoting Thomas Paine, no one, if a government is going to be a good government where the rule of law applies across the board, that no one is above the law, that even when a president oversteps his boundaries and begins to usurp powers that are not his, or to do other actions that are completely inappropriate for a president, then since there was no provision in the Egyptian constitution for impeachment, the people did what they had to do. But I'd heard indications before of this, and it was confirmed today in one of our meetings, that there is evidence, there was evidence at the time former President Morsi was arrested, that he was attempting to take efforts to have General al-Sisi killed. No one has a right to do that without due process of law in their own country. And so proper steps have been taken. I have no doubt after our conversations today that in due course and proper time that former President Morsi will have a chance to defend himself against allegations that have been charged already, There'll probably be others that will be forthcoming. And we'll see how the rule of law applies in Egypt. But I'm very encouraged. And we just wish the best for the Egyptian people. It's been wonderful being in and traveling around in the countryside today for all the various meetings. And I look forward to being back amongst even better times when there will